let's get those taste buds fired up.
Yeah.
Today we're taking a deep dive into a snack that's delicious and, something you can totally make at home.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We're talking about ground venison jerky,
Okay.
made right in your own kitchen.
Awesome.
Whether you're a seasoned hunter with, some venison to use up, or
Right.
just a snack enthusiast, or even if you're just curious about the process,
Sure.
this deep dive is for you.
Great.
Picture this. Lean, protein-packed jerky.
Okay.
Perfect for, fueling your hikes,
Yeah.
road trips,
Mm-hmm.
or even just a midday energy boost.
I like it.
And the best part is we're going to unlock the secrets
Okay.
to making it yourself.
Awesome.
We'll cover everything you need to know,
Okay.
from marinating and shaping to
Yeah.
those drying techniques that'll make your jerky the envy of every snack aisle.
Oh, wow.
And trust me, we've got some surprising tips and tricks along the way.
All right.
For example,
Yeah.
did you know that curing salt isn't just for flavor?
Oh.
It actually plays a key role in preserving your jerky,
Interesting.
so it lasts longer.
Okay.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
To guide us through this delicious journey, we've got our expert here.
Happy to be here.
So are you ready to turn that ground venison into mouth-watering jerky?
Absolutely. Jerky making is a craft that's been around, forever.
Wow.
It's this blend of culinary skill and, these old-school preservation techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And with a little guidance, you can achieve amazing results right in your own kitchen.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we dive into, the details of the recipe itself, I'm curious about the venison.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it so special for jerky?
Well, venison is naturally lean, and that's, absolutely crucial for making jerky.
Okay.
Yeah, fat tends to oxidize, and it can go rancid over time.
You.
Yeah, and so by using lean meat,
Okay.
we ensure that our jerky stays fresh
Yeah.
and flavorful longer.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I never really thought about the science behind it.
That's there. All right, let's talk marinade, because this recipe has, a pretty impressive list of ingredients.
It does.
What's the secret sauce?
Well, the marinade is really where the magic happens.
Okay.
We're layering these flavors and creating a symphony for your taste buds.
Ooh.
It all starts with a classic combo, soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, yeah?
They provide this, savory umami base
All right.
that everyone loves in jerky.
It's so true.
It is.
I've always wondered why those two go hand in hand in so many jerky recipes.
They really do.
What is it about their combination that works so well?
They complement each other perfectly.
Yeah.
Soy sauce brings this salty, savory depth.
Yeah.
And Worcestershire sauce adds that touch of tanginess and complexity
Right.
with its blend of vinegar and molasses
Interesting.
and spices. And together,
Oh, okay.
they just create this balanced foundation
Yeah.
for all the other flavors to shine through.
That is fascinating.
It is.
It really is like a culinary power couple.
Okay, so we've got the savory base down.
Uh-huh.
What about that smoky flavor?
Yes.
That's so classic with jerky.
You can't have jerky without that smoky flavor.
Right.
And that's where liquid smoke comes in.
Okay.
It's a concentrated smoky flavoring
Right.
that just infuses that venison with that authentic campfire taste.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, without needing an actual smoker.
That's amazing.
It's a game changer for home cooks.
I bet. It's like bringing the outdoors in.
Exactly.
Now, I see honey or brown sugar on the ingredient list.
Yes.
Is that for those of us with a bit of a sweet tooth?
You got it.
All right.
A touch of sweetness does wonders for jerky.
Okay.
Not only adds a hint of deliciousness,
Right.
but it actually helps with the caramelization process during drying.
Oh.
And that creates those,
Yeah.
beautiful, slightly browned edges.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Caramelization equals flavor and visual appeal.
exactly.
Okay, so we've got the sweetness factor covered.
Mm-hmm.
What about all those spices listed?
Yeah.
What role do they play in this jerky masterpiece?
Spices are where you can really get creative.
Okay.
You can personalize your jerky.
Yeah.
This recipe starts with garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper,
Like the classics.
the classics. And they just add depth and complexity to that flavor profile.
Yeah.
Then there's smoked paprika,
Okay.
which brings another layer of smokiness
Uh-huh.
and richness.
I like it.
And then for those who like a little heat, a little spice,
Yes.
cayenne pepper is a perfect addition.
Awesome. So it's like building this flavor profile.
Exactly.
Brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
Okay, so we got all these amazing flavor enhancers.
Mm-hmm.
What about salt?
Ah, salt.
Yeah.
Salt is essential for both flavor and preservation.
Okay.
It enhances all those delicious flavors we've been talking about,
Right.
but it also helps to draw out moisture from the meat
Oh,
while it's drying.
interesting.
And if you're using curing salt,
Yeah.
which is a special type of salt containing sodium nitrate,
Uh-huh.
it acts as a powerful preservative.
So that's what helps it last longer.
Exactly. It prevents the growth of harmful bacteria and extends that shelf life of the jerky.
So curing salt's like a secret weapon
It
for
is.
long-lasting
It
jerky.
is a secret weapon.
I had no idea it played such an important role.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our lean ground venison
Mm-hmm.
and this incredible marinade.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
Time to marry the two. Combine that ground venison with the marinade.
Okay.
Make sure every bit of that meat is coated in that flavorful mixture.
Really get in there.
Yeah?
Okay.
Seal it up tight and let it rest in the refrigerator,
Okay.
preferably overnight.
Overnight.
Wow.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
For maximum flavor.
That's some serious dedication to flavor.
It is.
But for those of us who, might be a little short on time,
Sure.
is there a minimum marinating time
Yeah.
that still gives, decent results?
You're right. Overnight is ideal.
Yeah.
But if you're at a pinch,
Mm.
you can get away with a minimum of 4 hours.
Oh, well.
Just make sure the venison's completely coated and the container is well sealed.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we've got our venison happily marinating in the fridge.
It is.
What's next on our jerky making adventure?
Next, we prepare our drying station.
Okay.
Preheat your dehydrator or oven
Right.
to 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And if you're using an oven,
Yeah.
make sure to line those baking sheets with parchment paper
Right.
to prevent sticking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so the stage is set.
Yes.
The heat is on.
It is.
Time to transform that marinated venison into those perfect, chewy strips.
All right.
What's the secret to getting that ideal jerky shape?
You have a couple options here.
Okay.
A jerky gun.
A jerky gun.
Yeah, it's a handy tool
Oh, wow.
that allows you to, extrude the meat mixture
Okay.
in uniform strips directly onto the drying trays.
So I've never even used a jerky gun before.
Oh, really?
What are the advantages of using a jerky gun?
Versus, say, the rolling method.
Well, a jerky gun definitely streamlines the process.
Okay.
You're going to create those consistent strips with minimal effort.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a jerky gun, don't worry.
Okay.
You can achieve great results by rolling the mixture between 2 sheets of parchment paper
Okay.
to about 1/8 of an inch thickness.
Yeah.
And then you can just use a sharp knife or even a pizza cutter to slice it into strips.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So no matter your equipment, delicious jerky is within reach.
it is.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got our jerky all shaped, ready to go.
It is.
What happens next?
Now comes the grand finale drying.
Ooh.
Carefully arrange the jerky strips on the dehydrator trays
Right.
or baking sheets
Okay.
and make sure they're not overlapping.
Yeah,
This allows for even airflow in drying.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
So I imagine this is where patience really comes into play.
it does.
How long does this drying process usually take? And are there any visual cues to look for?
Drying time can vary
Got it.
depending on the thickness of your jerky
Mm-hmm.
and the humidity in your kitchen.
Okay.
But it typically takes around 3 to 5 hours for venison jerky.
Okay.
And the key is to just watch for that perfect texture.
All right.
We're aiming for firm but pliable.
Okay.
It should bend without breaking.
So not too dry and brittle, but not too soft either.
You got it.
It's like finding that sweet spot in the middle.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a delicate dance of moisture and time.
Yeah.
You'll get a feel for it with practice.
I'm starting to feel like a jerky scientist.
Haha, right.
We're controlling these variables,
Yeah.
making observations.
That's awesome.
This is pretty exciting. What happens once we think our jerky has reached peak perfection?
Even though it might be tempting to dig in right away,
Oh, I bet.
patience is key. Once again,
All right.
allow the jerky to cool completely.
Okay.
This helps it firm up even more,
Right.
and it allows those flavors to really meld.
Oh, I can just imagine the aroma
It is amazing
while it's cooling.
while it's cooling.
That must be like torture waiting for it to cool down completely.
It can be,
Yeah,
but trust me, it's worth the wait.
I believe you.
Yeah, once it's completely cooled,
Hmm.
you can store your delicious homemade jerky in airtight containers
Okay.
or vacuum-sealed bags
Right.
to lock in all that freshness.
Smart.
Yeah.
So we've got our drying method down.
Uh-huh.
We've mastered the art of patience while it cools.
You got it.
Anything else we should keep in mind as we're wrapping up this part of our jerky journey?
If you're planning on storing your jerky for a while,
Yeah.
especially about refrigeration,
Mm-hmm.
remember that curing salt is your best friend.
Right.
It's going to act as a powerful preservative,
Okay.
and it's going to make sure the jerky stays safe and delicious for longer.
Curing salt noted.
Good.
It's like the unsung hero
It is.
of jerky preservation.
It is.
Okay, so what about getting creative with flavors? Can we stray from the classic recipe?
Absolutely. This recipe is a fantastic jumping off point.
Right.
But the flavor possibilities are endless.
Oh, wow.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
You can try adding chili powder
Oh, yeah.
for a little southwestern flair,
I like that.
cumin for like an earthy depth,
Okay.
or even just like a touch of maple syrup for a hint of sweetness.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's all about making it your own.
exactly.
Exploring those,
Right.
taste bud adventures.
Totally.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far.
It has been.
We've learned how to transform ground venison into delicious jerky,
We have.
demystify the marinade, and even, master the art of drying.
We have.
Welcome back, jerky enthusiasts.
Hello?
I am so excited for this next part
All right.
because we're about to unlock even more jerky making potential.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that question we left off with last time?
I-
Can we use this recipe for other ground meats?
Well, it's a question that speaks to the adventurous spirit of every, DIY foodie.
Right.
And the answer is, in most cases,
Okay.
a resounding. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So we're not limited to just venison.
Not at all.
Awesome. So what other ground meats
Yeah.
would be good candidates for jerky?
The world of jerky is your oyster.
Wow.
While venison is lean
Right.
and has that, wonderful mild flavor,
Yeah.
you can explore other options.
Go.
Ground beef,
Yeah.
turkey,
Yeah.
chicken,
Mm-hmm.
even lean ground pork can be transformed into delicious jerky.
Oh, wow. That opens up a world of possibilities.
It does.
So if I were to use, say, ground beef,
Mm-hmm.
would the process be exactly the same as with the venison?
The basic steps remain the same.
Okay.
Marinate, shape, and dry.
Right.
But there are a few nuances to keep in mind when you're adapting the recipe for different meats.
So that's...
Just like with venison,
Mhm.
choosing lean ground meat is super important.
Right. Lean meat is key.
Yes, it is.
We learned that lesson well in part 1.
We did.
What other adjustments might we need to make?
Well, each meat has its own unique flavor profile.
Okay.
So you might want to, tweak the marinade
Mm-hmm.
to complement the meat you're using.
That makes sense.
Ground beef, for example,
Yeah.
has a richer, more robust flavor
Right.
compared to venison.
Yeah.
You might consider, dialing back the soy sauce a bit or
Okay.
adding a touch more sweetness to balance it out.
Got it. So it's like tailoring a suit.
It is.
We need to make sure that the marinade fits the meat
Exactly.
perfectly.
Perfectly.
Okay, so we've got the meat.
Mm-hmm.
We've fine-tuned the marinade.
Oh, yeah.
What about the drying time?
Yeah.
Does that change depending on the meat we choose?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Denser meats, like ground beef,
Mm-hmm.
might require a slightly longer drying time. Compared to venison,
Okay.
it's not just about sticking to a specific time, though.
Right.
You really need to pay attention to the texture.
Okay.
Remember, we're aiming for that firm but pliable consistency.
Yeah.
It should bend without breaking.
So those visual cues are just as important as the clock.
They are.
So what are some of the telltale signs
Yeah.
that our non-venison jerky is perfectly dried?
You want it to bend without breaking.
Right.
If it snaps or feels too dry,
Yeah.
it's over-dried.
Okay.
On the other hand,
Mm-hmm.
if it feels mushy or damp,
Yeah.
it needs more time.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that making jerky is like a bit of an art form.
It is an art form.
It's all about finding that balance.
Finding the balance.
Now, when we're working with different types of ground meat,
Yeah,
food safety is, always top of mind.
of course.
Any tips for ensuring our jerky is safe to eat?
Food safety is paramount,
Yeah.
especially when working with raw meat. Always start with fresh, high-quality ground meat
Okay.
and handle it with care
Mm-hmm.
to avoid contamination.
Yeah.
Wash your hands thoroughly,
Okay.
as well as any utensils or surfaces that come into contact with the raw meat.
Good reminders.
Yeah,
We want delicious jerky, not a trip to the doctor.
exactly.
What about temperature control during the process?
Temperature plays a crucial role
Okay.
in both flavor development and food safety.
Right.
Keep the marinade refrigerated throughout the process.
Okay.
And make sure your jerky reaches an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit
Okay.
during drying.
Got it.
That temperature is key to eliminating any harmful bacteria
Right?
and ensuring your jerky is safe to enjoy.
160 degrees. That's our magic number.
It is.
For safe and delicious jerky.
Yes, it is.
I have to say, I'm really excited about the idea of branching out
Yeah.
and experimenting with different ground meats and flavor combinations.
Yeah.
But before I go wild in the kitchen, are there any final words of wisdom you want to share with our listeners?
Jerky making is a rewarding culinary adventure.
It is.
And the beauty of it is you
Yeah.
can customize it to your liking.
Right.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Try new things.
Yeah.
And most importantly, have fun with it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's all about embracing that creativity and the joy of experimenting in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
We started with the classic ground venison jerky,
Mm-hmm.
and now we've opened up a whole new world of possibilities
Right.
with other ground meats.
Exactly.
It's amazing how much we've learned in such a short amount of time.
It is.
But the journey's not over yet.
Ooh.
In our final installment,
Right.
we'll be reflecting on the key takeaways from our jerky making adventure
Yeah.
and leaving you with a thought-provoking question to ponder.
All right.
So stay tuned for the grand finale. All right, welcome back to the final part of our ground jerky deep dive.
Hello again.
We've covered a lot of ground,
Uh-huh. We have.
from, classic venison jerky to adapting the recipe for other meats.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to distill all that delicious knowledge
Yeah.
into some key takeaways.
All right. Sounds good.
So before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
let's take a moment to recap the most important things we've learned.
Yeah.
What are some of the golden nuggets?
Oh, the golden nuggets
Yeah.
of wisdom our listeners should take away from this deep dive.
Yeah, what really stands out?
I think, the biggest takeaway
Yeah.
is the importance of starting with lean meat.
Okay.
Whether it's venison, beef, turkey,
Right.
you name it.
Yeah.
Minimizing that fat content is super crucial for
Right.
both texture and shelf life.
Absolutely. Lean meat equals happy jerky.
It does.
I think we can all agree on that one.
Yes.
What else stands out to you as a key learning point?
Don't be afraid to experiment with the marinade.
Yeah.
The recipe we talked about is a great foundation.
Right.
But it really is just a starting point.
Right.
Feel free to adjust the spices, sweetness, all those ingredients to suit your taste.
I love that.
It's the beauty of homemade jerky.
Yeah.
You can truly make it your own.
Right. You're not limited
I
to
think so.
what you find in the store.
Exactly.
Any other nuggets of wisdom before we sign off?
Patience.
Patience.
Good jerky takes time.
Yeah, it's definitely.
From marinating to drying,
Mhm.
it's all about giving those flavors time to develop
Right.
and ensuring that perfect texture.
That's true.
Don't rush the process.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Savor the anticipation.
So true. Rushing things rarely leads to good results,
It doesn't,
especially in the kitchen.
especially in the
It's about slowing down,
Yeah,
appreciating the craft.
I agree.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful and, dare I say, inspiring.
Yes,
We've learned how to make delicious homemade jerky.
we have.
Unlocked the secrets of flavor,
That's the secrets.
and even explored the science behind preservation.
The science.
But before we say goodbye, I have one final, thought-provoking question.
Oh, a thought-provoking question.
I do.
Yeah.
Hit me with it. We've focused on using ground meat for jerky,
Right.
but what about other ingredients?
Other ingredients, like what?
Could we incorporate, vegetables, nuts, or even dried fruits into our jerky creations?
That's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
It really opens up
Yeah.
a whole new realm of possibilities.
Yeah,
Imagine the texture
Yeah.
and flavor combinations you
Yeah.
could create.
I know.
A venison jerky with dried cranberries and pecans.
Ooh.
Or a spicy beef jerky with a touch of dried mango. The possibilities are endless.
That's what I'm talking about. I can already picture
Right.
these, these innovative jerky creations. Yeah, it would definitely require some, experimentation
Yeah,
with drying times and techniques.
for sure.
But, the potential for culinary breakthroughs is huge.
It is huge.
I love it.
Yeah,
It's a challenge worth taking on.
it is.
I encourage our listeners to explore these uncharted territories
Yes.
of jerky making
Yeah.
and see what delicious discoveries they can make.
I love that.
And hey, if you stumble upon
Yeah.
like an amazing jerky creation, share it with us.
Yes, share it.
We'd love to hear about your,
Yeah.
culinary adventures.
We would.
Well, that brings us to the end of our ground jerky extravaganza.
It does.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive as much as we have.
We have.
We've learned a ton,
We have.
laughed a little,
A little bit.
and hopefully, sparked your creativity in the kitchen.
Yes.
Until next time, happy snacking.
Happy snacking.
And may your jerky always be perfectly dried.
Yes.
And bursting with flavor.
I like it.